And the exciting events of tomorrow evening here on BBC Two mean that Mark Lawson's late review of the year arrives a night early.
Good evening. Tonight, Late Review is on a different day and in the last show until after Christmas becomes Late Review of the Year. In a moment, our regular critics will be unwrapping the best things the arts have given them this year. But first, in our own version of the Queen's Christmas speech, we look back at the events of 1994. It was a year for literally changes of direction. Steven Spielberg came in from the playroom and Martin Scorsese came in from the streets. Both ended up in the library, Scorsese producing an adaptation of Edith Wharton's The Age of Innocence and Spielberg of Thomas Keneally's Schindler's List. Disaster returned in triumph in the runaway success Speed. Hollywood finally caught up with AIDS in Philadelphia. The enfant terrible, Quentin Tarantino, was older but still terrible, with his trademark mix of gags and gangsters in Pulp Fiction. The English magazine The Spectator chose the year of Schindler's List to inform its readers that Hollywood was run by Jews, a much vilified assertion that led to The Spectator becoming the first literary journal to get a letter from Tom Cruise. Journalism was the only profession more insecure than football management. It was a year in which newspaper proprietors sent out the message, "That's enough, Ed." Andrew Neil, Kelvin Mackenzie, Andreas Whittam-Smith, Patsy Chapman and Eve Pollard all logged off. Two of broadcasting's most bloody-minded talents, presenter Brian Redhead and playwright Dennis Potter, died too young. Watchdog Mary Whitehouse, who had clashed with both of them, retired. She claimed to have succeeded in cleaning up TV, but in a last laugh for liberals, the year of her departure saw more swearing, bad taste and sex than there'd been for years. A documentary that wired up ex-England manager Graham Taylor left all previous foul-mouthed programmes on the bench. The surgically offensive BBC One series Cardiac Arrest got the pulses of the moral majority racing. And Desmond Morris's series, The Human Animal, was internally grateful for a miniature camera that filmed the most famous screen orgasm since the one in When Harry Met Sally. Mrs. Whitehouse, in her retirement, could take comfort only from the return of the boxed book. Middlemarch and Martin Chuzzlewit put the Reverend Casaubon and Mr. Pecksniff up there with Victor Meldrew and Fitz as TV characters. In literature, the best way to get royalties was to write about royalty. It's not uncommon for divorcing couples to end up communicating only by letter, but the Prince and Princess of Wales became the first to communicate through biographies. Jonathan Dimbleby wrote the his version, Andrew Morton returned with hers, while Major James Hewitt and Major Ronald Ferguson got on their high polo horses to tell of being the lover and father of a princess. English literature's wailing princess, Jeanette Winterson, turned up on the doorstep of a critic who'd given her a bad review. And James Kelman won the Booker Prize with a novel that broke Graham Taylor's 1994 record for F-words in a cultural product. It was a year for nights out, with the emphasis on the out, as the gay play came to London in Jonathan Harvey's Babies, Kevin Elliott's My Night with Reg, and Lillian Hellman's The Children's Hour. Newspaper critics bitched in print over the merits of this pink revolution, and elderly straight writers announced themselves as a persecuted minority. Many of them were among the 87 dramatists who signed a letter to The Guardian, demanding that Britain's theatres should produce more new plays. The theatres replied that the playwrights might have more luck if they turned the letter into a musical. It seemed that paintings might not be the only thing found hanging in a gallery, after angry art lovers wrote a letter denouncing the Evening Standard's anti-modernist critic Brian Sewell. Proving that notoriety seldom makes you poor, he kept his job and got a book out of the row. Art's most famous face, apart from the Mona Lisa, Munch's The Scream, was stolen. Police thought they'd found it, but it turned out to be a picture of Brian Sewell, after seeing two of the year's prize exhibits, Damien Hirst's Dead Sheep and Helen Chadwick's Chocolate Fountain. And it was a year in which it was a modernist who won the battle for retrospective attention. Picasso was re-examined in galleries and on television. And finally, what do these four people have in common? Marty Pellow, W.H. Auden, Hugh Grant, and Sam Latifi. The answer is that their lives were changed in 1994 because of a single film, 4 Weddings and a Funeral, which became one of the most influential pieces of culture in living memory. Hugh Grant became a superstar by the conventional method of appearing in the film. But W.H. Auden sold 100,000 paperbacks and got a posthumous 6 months on the bestseller list because a poem of his was read in it. Marty Pellow of Wet 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 got a record-breaking 16 weeks at #1 with a song from the soundtrack, and Sam Latifi made the front pages by intervening in a November mugging attack on Elizabeth Hurley, who had herself become famous simply for being the girlfriend of Hugh Grant and wearing a dress which hadn't cost Versace much in material to the premiere of the movie. Muzz Hurley, who became a media icon without actually doing anything, was to 1994 what Mr. Blobby had been to 1993.